Welcome to Nexion, your trusted channel for in-depth explorations of mysteries, unsolved crimes, and the dark corners of human history. Here, we dive deep into stories that haunt communities, shake nations, and leave behind questions that echo through time. Our purpose is to present not just facts, but entire narratives that allow you to step into the story, to feel the tension, the fear, and the unanswered doubts. Today, we revisit one of the most chilling mysteries from modern-day France, a case that gripped headlines, shattered a family, and left the community in shock. This is the story of Lina Delsarte, the mysterious case of Lina Delsarte, a story in full narrative. Prologue, a village in silence. It was the 23rd of September, 2023, in the picturesque village of Plain, nestled in Alsace's rolling hills. Life unfolded as peacefully as ever, a place where everyone knew everyone, where the woods and rivers wrapped around homes like natural guardians. But peace in Plain would soon shatter, replaced by fear, suspicion, and mourning. That morning, a 15-year-old girl named Lina Delsarte stepped out of her home, never to return. Lina's disappearance would soon become one of France's most mysterious and unsettling cases of the decade. Chapter 1. Who was Lina? To understand the weight of this story, we must first know Lina. She was not just another missing person headline. She was a daughter, a friend, a dreamer. At just 15, she carried ambitions that reached far beyond the small village where she grew up. Music was her passion. Her laughter often filled her home, and she was described as kind, creative, and full of life. The people of Plain remembered her as a girl who lit up every room. Teachers spoke of her intelligence and dedication. Friends loved her adventurous spirit, and her mother, who adored her deeply, would later describe her as her ray of light. But on that September morning, Lina left with plans as simple as any teenager's. She was going to meet her boyfriend in Strasbourg. She never made it. Chapter 2. The Vanishing Act. It was around 11 a.m. when Lina left home. The air was crisp, a mix of autumn's chill and sunlight. Witnesses saw her walking along the road leading to the local station. Nothing seemed unusual, but as hours passed, her boyfriend waited at Strasbourg station, scanning the crowds anxiously. She didn't arrive, his calls went unanswered, his messages unread. By afternoon, concern grew. By evening, fear set in. When night fell, Lina's family reported her missing. The search began immediately. Police, neighbors, and volunteers scoured the woods, streams, and paths. Helicopters scanned from above. Search dogs picked up faint trails, but nothing concrete surfaced. The forest whispered no answers. It was as if Lina had vanished without a trace. Chapter 3. The investigation begins. The gendarmerie launched a full-scale investigation. They reviewed CCTV from the station and the surrounding roads. What they discovered puzzled them further. Lina had never boarded the train to Strasbourg. Somewhere between her home and the station, she had disappeared. Theories swirled. Had she run away? Was she kidnapped? Had she met with an accident? But the evidence or lack thereof deepened the mystery. The road she walked was not isolated. Someone, somewhere, must have seen something. Yet days passed without answers. Every passing hour made the case darker. Chapter 4. A name emerges. By late 2023, investigators narrowed in on a suspect, Samuel Gonin. He was a man in his 30s, living not far from Lina's route. What drew suspicion? His car had been spotted in the area at the same time Lina vanished. Forensic traces hinted that Lina might have been inside his vehicle. Even more damning, his phone's geolocation placed him dangerously close to Lina's path that morning. Neighbors described Gonin as a solitary man, eccentric, and socially withdrawn. He was not known for violent behavior, but there was something about him that didn't sit right. Investigators dug deeper, searching his belongings, interrogating him, and piecing together his movements. The puzzle pointed toward Gonin, but just as answers seemed within reach, the case took a shocking turn. Chapter 5. The Silence of Suicide. In July 2024, news broke that Samuel Gonin had ended his life. His suicide sent shockwaves across France. Many believed this was a silent confession, an indirect admission of guilt. But for investigators, it was also a devastating setback. Without Gonin alive, There could be no trial, no confession, and no direct answers. He had taken his secrets with him. Still, forensic teams pressed forward. His car was analyzed again and again. Every scrap of evidence was examined. And though his death closed one door, it forced investigators to pursue the truth even more relentlessly. Chapter 6. A Family in Limbo. For Lina's family, the wait was agonizing. With no body, they clung desperately to the hope that she might still be alive. Her mother appeared on television, pleading for information, begging for answers. Rumors spread, some cruelly suggesting Lina had run away, others imagining she was being held somewhere. 13 months passed, 13 long months of not knowing, until finally, the forest whispered its grim truth. Chapter 7. The Discovery. October 2024. Deep within the Nevers forest, woodcutters stumbled upon human remains. The bones were carefully recovered and sent for DNA analysis. Days later, the confirmation arrived. It was Lina. The village of Plain fell into mourning. Vigils were held. Candles burned through the night. Her school organized memorials. People who barely knew her cried for her. The discovery brought closure, but not peace. The body answered one question, yet left 100 more. How had she died? Was she killed immediately, or had she suffered in captivity? Did Gonin act alone, or was someone else involved? The answers were blurred by time. Exposure to the elements had erased much of the forensic evidence. The exact cause of death could not be determined. The mystery persisted, even in tragedy. Chapter 8. Reconstructing the crime. Based on the evidence, investigators believe Lina was abducted along her route to the station. Gonin's presence, his vehicle, and forensic traces tied him to her disappearance. But the timeline remains uncertain. The possibility that she was held for some time cannot be ruled out. Her remains being found over a year later only complicated the picture. The woods, so vast and silent, had hidden her story far too long. Chapter 9. A Nation Reacts. The case sparked outrage across France. How could a young girl vanish so icily in broad daylight? How could it take so long to find her? Families across the country saw their own daughters in Lina. Politicians debated new safety measures. Criminologists dissected the case on television. The media turned Lina into a symbol of vulnerability and of the justice system's limitations. The tragedy of Plain became a national lesson, a reminder that even in quiet villages, darkness can lurk. Chapter 10. A Mother's Grief, a Mother's Strength. Lina's mother became the voice of resilience. Though broken, she spoke to the media not just about her pain, but about her daughter's life. She wanted the world to remember Lina as she truly was. Joyful, loving, full of dreams. She fought to ensure her story was not reduced to a headline. Her words resonated. Behind every crime statistic lies a human being, a family destroyed, and a future stolen. Epilogue. Shadows that remain. The case of Lina Delsarte is both solved and unsolved. Solved because the prime suspect is clear. Unsolved because the full truth died with him. What exactly happened in those lost hours of September 23, 2023 may never be known. For Plain, the memory lingers like a scar. For France, Lina's story is a haunting reminder. Evil often hides in plain sight, and sometimes justice comes too late. Closing words from Nexion. At Nexion, we believe stories like Lina's must be told, not just as tragedies, but as lessons. They remind us of the fragility of life, the importance of vigilance, and the resilience of those left behind. Lina's name must never be forgotten, because her story is not just hers, belongs to all of us who believe in truth, justice, and remembrance.